Hey bud, today we're working on the next section of Snow White's outfit, really the starting planning. I haven't done any of the major pieces yet, but I thought I'd start with the pieces that I think are more easy. And that part is this one here, which is her pauldron. I'm starting on her left shoulder, and then I'll work on the right. Good bit of advice is that I found a MMD file, which is a Miku Miku dance file, which was new to me. I didn't really realize what that was. You can go out and find many of them for a lot of different characters, and fortunately Nikke, even though it's a 2D game, has a lot of characters out there as 3D models for Miku Miku Dance, which is awesome and perfect for me because then I get a really good source of information for her. Let me show off the whole thing here. So you can see the whole pauldron here. And then we will zoom out and get the whole model, which is very high quality and will probably be what I'm using for the entirety of this build. Zoom back in. So I will be starting off with this. So I like to hand draw a lot of my notes for specific things when I'm looking at different models. I find that it helps me out a lot, mainly so I can put it down on paper and then post it up on the board and then go from there. All right. So I have the general shape here that looks to be, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of like, I don't know what shape to say this is like. But the basic design is, let's start at the top here, is kind of like a half oval that's kind of in two different steps and kind of flares out. There is these two little wings in the center and then the two little wings on the outside. And then in the inside, if I flip it to be like this, you can kind of tell that there's little swoops on the inside. Like most anime stuff, it doesn't seem like this inside part is very well attached at all. So I'm gonna have to try and figure out if I want to extend this a little bit so it gives me a contact point, or how I want to put this together. Honestly, I would probably be able to make something to just kind of fit it all together. We'll see how I feel. Let me get the nice side profile here because that's kind of how I want to work right now. And I was thinking about how I want to scale this. So the top of the shoulder pad is kind of parallel with her ear. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with that. So we're just going to pretend we got a head, we got a neck here, and I want it to be parallel with the neck. And then if you look really closely down here, you can kind of tell that it appears it goes pretty long. It looks like it goes essentially to what is her elbow. So from the top of the head at ear level, and we're gonna say about elbow level. And it looks to be at a, what do I want to say this is at? It's not straight, it's not a 90 degree. It's essentially going to be somewhere along the lines of, what do I say, like 100, 110. It's going to be like this. Probably 110 degrees. And that's to kind of let it, give it some room to go up and down if I raise my arm, so that makes sense. So it's essentially going to be like this, pretty much. Put a note here for myself. So that's kind of the overall, what I want to say. So it's essentially got like a, it's got like this wing here. Maybe a bit like this. Ooh, that's way too much. Way too much. Go back over here. So essentially this far, and then it's not that big of a thing. Like, yay. And then that little wing part is what extends towards the chest, out and towards the chest. Let's see. And that's on that side wing there. So let's finish up drafting the side wing. There we go. So it's going to be along the lines of this. And it kind of has like a square, like squared off corner here. And then it is going to go all the way down and up. So like that. And so this is going to be the lower part, and it looks like this top part here is going to be like raised, but it's essentially here and then down. So this is like the little rolled over edge, which will be interesting to try and because that's put together pretty much be like I make this whole thing laid out and then scrunch it together. It there. It almost looks like you made it out of EVA foam and then just rolled it in on itself, which is kind of interesting. Getting the shape on the inside probably won't be the biggest deal, but I'm sure I can get it done. So I think that's a pretty good outline of these bottom wings here. And they don't look clean like we would really want when we're using EVA foam. They kind of look rough and dirty, so that's a nice thing for that. All right. This top section here with the little I want to call it the little dome pieces up here are kind of interesting. They're almost like this, right? But these are kind of like flared up. Like up here is kind of like flared up, and then it just kind of like goes down like this. And then you got like a decent chunk here, and then it is down. It essentially comes down to this other part. So that'll be a weird one to try and fit together. I should label these. This is the side wings. This is the domes. So with those domes, I'm going back to the tablet here. Those domes are pretty simple and the inside's pretty hollow, so no biggies there. We have got the little attachments to the dome though that I'm trying to figure out how the inside is. And again, because anime, these are not attached whatsoever, so they will need to be attached. Oh, there we go. So they will need to be attached. But essentially, these are like little L's that are attached to these pieces here. It's like I don't know if this is rounded. If this is truly rounded, I guess. Can kind of tell that it's like straight, boom, to make a little edge, and then out. And I think those are pretty thin. We're gonna do the same here. Bring it down, and then it's slightly rounded with a little rivet in the middle. And I want to see this side piece here. Pretty thin, and I don't think anyone's really going to care the shape of what this internal piece looks like, so we're just going to make it square. Okay. That looks to be symmetrical, so we're good on the other side. So I want to look at all right. The smaller wings here seem to be pretty simple. They look to be just like this. Over, straight, and then all the way down, and all the way down. These are the small wings. All right. So those are the major pieces. It's the side wings, the small wings, and then the domes. These domes connect to this, and there's the little rolled edge here that these side wing connect to the domes. But let's double check where they connect to the dome. They don't, because anime. So I'm gonna have to figure out some way to get those connected. Almost as if I just take the sides. Let me zoom in here. It's like I take the sides and I just attach them, possibly with contact cement or something, right here along the edge of these rolled pieces. So we'll see if that works. It should, but I always worry about doing a thin edge like that connected, because they tend to want to just rip right off. We'll mull it over. This is our first look at it. So I think that's it for this left shoulder. I'm gonna take some time here and see if I can work it out. Let me see. Yeah, I think that's about it for that side. The left side, pauldron. Easier than the right side. The right side has a bit more complicated stuff on it. I think that's it for this pauldron. All right. I want to figure out my spacing here. So if I look at from the side here, I'll turn it a little bit more. Oh. All right. So this piece, the side wings and the domes are all in line with each other. All in a line with each other. This goes down here, kind of a lip, goes here, and then goes down. Give us a nice little outline here. And then we've got the small wing going all the way out a little bit farther. And then it comes down to here. Let's see. Then we've got around here. Let's. All right. Let me go grab my tape measure. All right. I'm going to be using my T here to kind of get some rough measurements. I don't think it'll be too bad. You won't be able to see it because POV, you're not really going to be able to see my shoulder, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure my shoulder here. See, the thing I'm trying to figure out is I think for her, it's right on top of like the ball of her shoulder so that this top part can pivot easily. And I think that's a good idea if I just do it from the top of the shoulder. Because if she were to raise her arm up, it would be clunking her in the head. So if I take from the ball of my shoulder, measure myself here, and I'll flip it. No. All right, if I set neutral, the ball of my shoulder is here. So it should be about, we'll go a little past. Should be about 12 inches. So let's just say rough 12 inches. I am not going to be perfect about this. We're going to go 12 inches long. 12 inches. That's pretty good. And then from the ball of my shoulder to my ear. So I'm going to take this, put it here. And then go to, let's just say like the top of my ear. I'm just gonna ballpark it. It's like about, it's about 6 inches. That's not, let's just double check. Because it almost looks like it's as long as, I mean, anime girls have unique proportions. Anime girls have weird proportions. But this almost looks like it's the same length. And it would be kind of crazy to put this at 12 inches. Yeah, that is nuts. I swear to God that that is like her elbow. I believe it's even rigged to be essentially her elbow. And that is like all the way up to her ear. Maybe even below. 12 inches from the ball of my shoulder is like above my head. That does not make sense. All right. Well, we're gonna make it a bit smaller then, I guess. See, but then I run into the problem of it looking strange. I mean, take this. It looks the same. How do I want to do this? I mean, I guess I'll just go 6 inches. I'll just go 6 inches and we'll roll with it. Let me remeasure. Just in case I'm insane. Ball of my shoulder to my top of my ear is, let's just make it 7. I want to make it 7 so it gets a little bit closer to being the right size. So I'll just do 7 inches. Oh, and we can figure out the length on these later. All right. That seems to be the dimensions for, and I'm gonna write this down here, left pauldron. Now we're on to the right pauldron for today. So the right pauldron, is a bit more complicated because it's definitely like a larger box kind of shape. Boxier, not a box. And that is going to be definitely where, and if you haven't noticed, I have a large pile of boxes here. I usually like to use those to figure out how I want things to be made kind of in 3D space. So I usually cut out pieces, and I will definitely be cutting out pieces for this, as well as the left pauldron, and probably pretty much everything else I'm working on. All right, so for her right pauldron, I want to kind of get the general shape, and the general shape for the front here is kind of this octagon kind of shape. Octagon. It's got 6 sides. Pentagon? Kind of coffin shaped, honestly. I think these sides are just a bit longer. A bit longer this way. And then from here, it will fit in like this. We'll go out, out, up, and then these will come this way, and they will meet here. And that will be the same on the opposite side, so I'm just going to copy that. Boom. I'm going to go here. It's definitely not going to be to scale right now, but I will be able to mirror it in the future. And it'll go out like that. And then I need to move my screen so I can see the top part, which is essentially just a trapezoid, so easy. All right, that's the basic shape of the top part there. A couple small details. It looks like there's a little box here, and I'm assuming another little box here. And then, kind of interesting, like it goes across, but like here, it looks like there's like a green detail here. So I'll make sure to get that in there. And it looks like there's some under stuff to get. To get in here. It's going to be a bit, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to prioritize the front and then work on the underbottom here to kind of fit, because I believe it all just kind of comes together. And I will work on that when I actually grab the cardboard and start working. So that helps. So I mean, the front shape is pretty easy. Oh, you know what? A little bit of detail here. And I'm just gonna put a nebulous little thing here to say Snow White logo. The Snow White with the poison apple. Oh, and there's a little triangle at the bottom. All right. And then there are these little accessories that will It's barely even attached at the bottom, and then at the top here it's not even attached, but I'm probably going to attach them so to make my life easier. So I will grab that. So this is the main body, and then we'll do the little side pods, which if I rotate this, they are the exact same. So I'll be able to mirror them and make two. And all they look to be is almost like a rupee from Zelda. So do this, a little bit short here. That. Go down a bit longer, and then it's a bit longer like this. That's pretty much it. And then it's kind of weird, like this is a little bit longer. So this would be a weird shape to make. Here, and then there. So that's the side pod's basic shape. And so that's the basic shape of all of it, except for kind of underneath the main shape. And then I just wanted to take a peek. You can barely see Snow White's eye there. I want to peek on the inside here. Whoa. All right. So there's like an almost like an underneath surface here that I'm going to guess is pretty simple. Oh, I'm trying to squeeze myself in. There we go. Yeah, nothing. There we go. No. It looks like it's pretty much just a, yeah, there we go. Okay. A thin line up front, and then the sides. So it's just a simple geometric shape. Not geometric. It's a simple shape on the inside that'll just attach to this. Probably just a little bit of support. Interesting. The sides are kind of bowed out on this to attach to that. So that'd be pretty easy. So that's the basic shape of her right pauldron. Now let me get a farther view. Tab out, zoom out. All right. So this one seems to be just a little bit short from the elbow. So I'm going to call that. So let's make a general shape here. So it's going to be probably the same angle, the 110 degrees. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, how do I want it? This is going to be a bit shorter. So we have 12 inches for the right pauldron. Let's do like 9 inches for the right pauldron because it's just a little shorter. I think that would work well. And then it's definitely shorter on top. So we did 7 inches, so I'm going to do 4. Let's do 5. Do we want to do 5? Yeah, I want to do 5. I want it to be a little bit taller because it's not too far away from the ear. Yeah. We'll roll with that for now, and then we can adjust when we actually make the styrofoam, the cardboard version. So while I'm here, the only thing left on this upper chest belt part is the pilgrim symbol, which just appears to be some weird shape. Flat, but a weird shape that I've got to make. I think those are like screws or rivets. Let me zoom in. Yeah, they're just little like flathead screws. And this seemed to be like little rivets. And some details on the side, but besides that, it's just going to be making the shape, making it thick, and then adding the little details on the side. I'm not even going to draw that because I'll hand draw it when I go to make it. And there's this central like buckle, I guess, which looks to be like it'll just be a handful of little dowels, 2 dowels, and they don't even look to be like in different sizes, and then just adding little bits of detail for that. That's probably going to be a pain because I'm not great when I do the detail like this, so we'll see about that. And then there's just this little plate here. So overall, I think that is it for the planning on this strap. It looks like it's a leather strap. I'll have to figure out how to make a leather strap or make some sort of foam version. But you know what? I'm probably not going to make a foam version. I might cheat and get like nylon or something. We'll see. Besides that, that's the end of this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.